Hi there! Welcome to the 14th episode of the Synth Project, where we are going to build a synth together. Now that we have a functioning VCO, we need something to use it as an actual musical instrument. And we will definitely need to add a keyboard to the synth, but I would also like to add something less conventional, something used in some instances by a number of artists. I am talking about an interface that provides a continuous and variable control voltage that we can use to control the VCO, but also other modules that we will make in the future. Yes, we already have that using a regular potentiometer, but I wanted something capable of more flexibility and greater resolution than a simple potentiometer. So what would be that device? Of course, a potentiometer. Wait, I'm not joking. It is a potentiometer, but not any of those we normally use. It is a potentiometer made with a long membrane that we can press with our finger and slide the finger on it to make the resistance change. It is what is called a softpot membrane resistor, which I sometimes call improperly a tape resistor. Let's take a look at this interesting device and let's see how we can use it with the synth. This is the tape resistor, or better the softpot, that I am talking about. It is basically a membrane capable of providing a resistance when we press on it with a fingertip. And if we slide the fingertip on it, we can have a continuous variable resistance. We will see later how it is made and how it works. At one end there is a connector with 3 leads, which resemble the leads of a regular potentiometer. There are several available lengths for this device, and the one I have chosen is 500 mm long, or about 20 inches. I bought this softpot online at sparkfun.com, but there are other places where it can be bought too. Sparkfun seemed to me the less expensive one, although of very good quality. We will see today how this softpot works and how we can use it in our synth. Here is the SparkFun website, opened on a page that lists the softpots they have currently in stock. You can see 3 of them of different lengths, 50 mm, 200 mm and 500 mm, which is the one that I bought. On the page you can see the full name of the device, the softpot membrane potentiometer. And here are the details of the one I got. Yes, it is a little expensive, but it is a very cool device and it is also very durable. We can probably use it a lot in our synth. Another vendor is Amazon. Of course, you will say they sell almost everything nowadays. Note how they have even more options than SparkFun. There is even a circular one. The problem with Amazon, though, is that these devices cost more than on SparkFun. Let's go to the DigiKey vendor now. They have the Spectra Symbol softpots like SparkFun. Spectra Symbol, by the way, is one of the very well-known makers of softpots. They make a durable and solid product, well, as solid as it can be since it is made out of a membrane. DigiKey has a vast selection of softpots. The last vendor I wanted to mention is Mouser Electronics. They too have a vast selection of devices and their price is actually comparable to the one from SparkFun. This one I just enlarged is identical to the one I will be using for my synth. And finally, here on the Spectra Symbol website, we can see how the device is actually made. Let's click on the How It Works tab and let's enlarge the picture to make it more visible. You can see the softpot is made out of 4 layers of material. The layer on the bottom is just a support for the whole device and its bottom side is self-adhesive, so it can be easily glued on any surface we decide to use it. The second layer from the bottom is the actual tape resistor. It is basically made similarly to the regular potentiometers, either rotating or linear. It has 2 leads attached to it, one at each end. And if we measure the resistance between these 2 leads, we have the nominal resistance described in the specs of the device. The 2 leads are available to one of the 2 ends of the strip and correspond to the 2 outer leads we saw earlier in the video. On top of the resistive layer there is another layer made of a flexible insulating material that has a thickness of 0.15 mm. This layer has a hole in the center across the whole length of the resistive strip. It basically acts as a spacer between the resistive layer and the top layer. The top layer, which is called the collector, is made out of a plastic membrane, from which the name of the device comes. The bottom side of the membrane is layered with a copper film. And because of the spacer, the copper does not touch the resistive layer, but if we use a finger to push on the top membrane, the membrane will flex and that section of the copper will come in touch with the resistive layer, providing therefore a resistance between the copper layer and either one of the two leads attached to the resistor layer. Sliding the finger on the membrane will change the resistance. The copper film of this top layer has its own lead, posted in between the other two leads of the resistor layer. The three of them make up for the equivalent set of three connectors of a regular potentiometer. And finally, here is a graphical representation of how the device is supposed to work. In order to use a softpot with a synth, we need to make sure that the correct control voltage is output by it. For that, I have devised this very simple circuit where the softpot R2 is used along with the resistor R1 to create a voltage divider that allows us to retrieve on the center terminal of the softpot a voltage between 0 and 9 volts. With such a range of voltages, we will be able to cover an excursion of 9 octaves when applied to the exponential input of the VCO. Given that the available power supply is 12 volts, we will need to use this equation to find the appropriate value for R1. The softpot that I have has a total resistance of 18K, and since we want to obtain a max voltage of 9 volts, the equation gives us a value of 6K for the resistor R1. However, since there is no such value for standard resistors, I will use an actual value of 6.8K. This choice will give us a smaller range of frequencies, but not much, and since 9 octaves is already really high in frequency, I don't believe it is a problem. And in fact, using the known value of R2 and the just found value of R1, if we plug them in the initial equation, it will give us a voltage between 8 and 9 volts, more than enough to go up to about 12 kHz with the top frequency. Note also that if you use a softpot with a different resistance, because it's a different length, you will have to use this formula to calculate your own value for R1. Now, besides this circuit, let's go test the softpot directly on the synth, as is, just for the fun of listening to the sound that can be generated. I am still unsure if I want to go that high with the frequency. Maybe I will use a bigger resistance value for R1, since I doubt that I will even need to go higher than the 6th octave. The 9th octave seems a little too high as a frequency to have any usefulness. Please let me know in the comments what you would consider to be the highest octave that I should pursue with this type of interface. I'm really navigating in uncharted waters right now. Your thoughts will be very much appreciated. In the next episode, we will go through the whole process of attaching the softpot and making a dedicated module to handle this new interface. So, don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications to avoid missing the next episode. I'll see you in the next video and, as usual, happy experiments!